Hello, this is David Wamsey here for the third in my series where I'm sharing with you how I'm trying to build up my new productized web building service with Beaver Builder. Now, if you've not seen the first, you probably want to check that out first to see that there's any value in any of these for you. But here I am looking at the plugins that we're going to be using in our WordPress blueprint. And by that, I mean the install of WordPress, which we duplicate time and time again each time we have a new project to save us time. And it includes all the plugins that we're likely to use already pre-configured, along with some pages, page templates, some PHP snippets, and regular CSS that I'm likely to use. Now here I'm just going to concentrate on the plugins, and with this video you probably don't need it because I've already created a blog post over on my own site, so there will be the link below this video, so click on it, it'll take you here. And I've already listed out all the 30 plus plugins that we use. I've tried to section them off into different types and add in the reasons for why we're using them. Now I hope this will be of some value, because often when we're talking about plugins and sharing what we think is the best, it's often without context of a particular business or what other plugins are being used with it. So hopefully by sharing this, it might make more sense. But I'm not claiming that any of these are the best or the best for you. It's just what I think is going to work best at the moment for our business, and there's a good likelihood that some of these plugins will change over time, and I will update this blog post as well to show that. So I'm going to talk through this blog post really. I'll try not to waffle on more than I need to, but I'll probably go a little bit off onto things that aren't included here. But the first thing I talk about here is plugin licenses and clients. Now, it's a topic I never really thought about when I first started 10 years ago. Obviously, it was for friends and family there, myself, and then just over 4 years ago when I started doing it for clients, I still didn't think about this and talking to clients about it. I was using the Genesis framework, which is the theme, which had a lifetime license, unlimited license. So it was a tool generally for me. Clients were interested in it. I just installed it and off they went. No care plan back then, never worried about it. But things have changed. I realized that as I added more subscription plugins in, we really needed to have that conversation. And for this business, it's actually been a benefit having plugins on a subscription. I can actually use it to my advantage. But I just wanted to mention something else that I do with my friend Nathan Wrigley over at WP Builds. We do a weekly podcast. I'll just go to our page there, and we covered this topic here on episode 20. What do clients need to know about web software licenses? And we talked, as we generally do weekly, for about 45 minutes on this. And we took our inspiration from something we got on the Beaver Builder Facebook group. I wrongly really posted an off-topic question about how people use licenses there, and it was quite interesting, the information we got back. So it was a good conversation. But with that, there is no right way. Of course, we've all got different businesses, different relationship with clients. So I just want to explain how I'm using it. So with this business, with it being a productized business, where really the client will first become aware of us by going on a free course. They don't need to come with us to build their websites, but if they do, they book our time and buy now button. And we didn't at that point want to say, okay, you have to come in on a care plan. We didn't want to be another Wix, Weebly, Squarespace where offering only the rental option. We wanted to make real use of the freedoms of WordPress, that it's an open source project where the code, you can do what you like with, and we wanted to be able to offer that to clients as well so they could expand beyond us if they wanted to. But equally, we knew that from our experience, clients really weren't well equipped to look after WordPress installs, and as things get more complex with page builders and perhaps more updates on it, they were less likely to be able to look after their own installs. So we really, and we need it for our business to have the care plan at the center of it, because it's the scalable side of our business. So we needed a way to be able to sort of present that. And at the moment, because we don't have the course running where I would cover some of this stuff about software and WordPress, at the moment, when somebody comes to us, and it's generally my friend who brings in the clients, it's her business, we will now send them an email from the first inquiry saying, well, this is how we build websites in these 2 days. And you've got then the option of being able to go and self-host or self-manage. And we recommend this only for people who've got WordPress experience or have got developer help out there to help them should there be any update issues. Or you can go on a care plan. We don't need to worry about that. So the self-hosting, we really say you just get your files and you can let your hoster put you on their server and everything else. And if you want us to do that side of it, it's also another product to set you up. And we make the care plan easier. But we also give a basic costing, an approximate costing for self-hosting route, where we give what it would cost them to buy the software, which they will need to do. And on the care plan, what it is for the care plan. And our care plan is reasonable, so it's actually the cheaper option. We can discount them a little bit because when they come with us, rather than go on the self-hosting option, there's not a warranty period that we need to cover. And it works out better for most clients if they don't have the experience. So that way, we hope we set out the real situation for them, the reality of managing the sites themselves. And they will choose to go with our care plan because it is there for the benefit of most people, as well as being part of our business. So we hope that this sets off on the right foot with them right from the beginning. They understand this, because largely we're thinking, we're signing people up to subscription. Nobody really likes a subscription unless they understand the true value of it. And it's quite possible if we gloss over this issue that they'll be looking at subscriptions later going, do I really need this? And then they would need to move off, and then we'd have an awkward conversation about this. So we like to get this up front, because then they will see the value, how we're actually saving the money as we go along. So that's kind of how we do that. So I just thought I'd share that with you. The other thing in this post here, I just mentioned 30 plus plugins. Again, something that came out of the Beaver Builder Facebook group recently. As I was writing this, somebody asked the question, how many plugins do you have on your sites, or something similar to that? And yeah, this one comes up quite regularly, and probably me mentioning 30 plugins here probably blow a few people's minds. And I do like this question, even as silly as it is, because it does produce some quite surprise answers. But it is a silly one in the sense that WordPress functionality obviously can be included in a theme as well as a plugin, and no plugin is alike in terms of what they do and the server resources that they use up. And I really just mentioned it because as I'm going through the plugins, I didn't want to lose track of the fact that I was very conscious of the plugins that I use when compiling the ones, particularly with plugin load. It's something I've often measured individual plugins to see how much load they are. It's good sense for us because of we're hosting people, so the more resources a website's using, then the less we can put on a server, and so it costs us more money. And also about the sort of code quality. I'm not a developer, so I can't judge somebody's code quality, but I can listen to others who do know this and look out for that. So that's important as well for updates, because the less we have to do on updates, the less time we have to spend on our care plan, and the more profitable it is for us. So, these are important considerations when I was looking at it. So let me go and quickly go over the plugins that I'm using, because I'm quite conscious this is getting maybe a tad boring now. So obviously the core set, and this does 80 to 90% of the work, is the Beaver Builder plugin and theme, and Beaver Themer when it comes out, and that's what I'm setting things up with at the moment. Beautiful combination of this. There are some excellent themes out there, plenty of strong competition. I mentioned Genesis that I used before. There's Generate Press, which is fantastic out there. Going with the theme by Beaver Builder, just for that guaranteed integration. So for all time, I've got used to it. I like what it's doing. I like the way it's going, and the direction, slow progress on it perfectly suits me, and I'm getting to learn it. So it's ideal for what I'm doing. Gravity Forms is obviously an essential part of it. The forms that come with Beaver Builder aren't enough typically for what we would need to do. Typically on a contact page, let's just go over to my blueprint over here. We typically might just have a sign up on a contact that would send to our newsletter service over here. There's something that's not included in default Beaver Builder, so we'd always need some extra form builder. I've gone with Gravity Forms because of the 5-year plus history with them and faultless updates on them. It's, by far the largest of all of the options that are out there in terms of popularity, in terms of the number of third-party add-ons on it. It also, if Google Trends is anything to go by, it's something that's still on the rise. It's still increasing the interest, at least, in it. And finally, we use video user manuals, which is something by Troy Dean from WP Elevation, you might know him now, or the Rockstars Empires video courses that he does at the moment. But this is dashboard videos that you can set up that are white labeled for your clients, and we're using that and keeping that in the install, and that's one of the benefits of being on our care plan. And it's also got a section that's on Gravity Forms, so that's quite helpful with that. We're also using Styler for Gravity Forms, which is a new plugin which is still being developed by the IdeaBox folks, who are the team behind PowerPack. So this is being used to globally style our Gravity Forms. It's really kind of quite handy for kind of visual thing. It means that the person in our setup who is taking the trainer designer role rather than the developer role could probably style some of these forms directly with the client there, working with them. Okay, so there's that. There's Yoast SEO. That's the one. Again, I'm going for the established, popular ones here. Quite complex. Adds a sitemap. I like it particularly against some of the competition because it adds metadata to archive and custom post types, which others don't. There are videos in video user manuals on Yoast, which is handy as well, so it ties in with that. And I also like to use it with this great nifty little plugin that's on GitHub called Beaver Builder Toolbox. I've done another video on that, and I can just quickly show you how that works. I think let's just go over here. If I go into the builder, and go, it's installed at the moment, so if we go to page settings over here, I can go over, I can just add the metadata and meta description, the basic stuff here for a client from the front end without all the complexities of Yoast. So that's why I'm kind of using that. Anti-Spam B, that's in when people have got blog. It's an alternative to Akismet, which if you're using it for commercial use is a paid for service. Personally, in my experience of it so far, not a big blogger to really be able to judge this, but Anti-Spam B has been better in my experience than the Akismet at actually blocking spam without identifying false positives and blocking genuine commenters. So really quite like that. It's free, just works easy. WordFence, I've mentioned it. Again, there's a lot of options out there at the moment. I follow their blog, so it seems quite handy to get the general news and also news on the plugin itself. And yeah, that's it. I just like it for the reports that I can put into our main WP install, which is our main dashboard software that we use for that to manage all of the sites. I'm considering adding this free plugin here with WPS hide login to change the name of the login from WP admin, so that keeps out some of those automated bots. That's not included in WordFence. It is included in some of the other plugins with that. So I haven't made a decision on that one. I have done it on some other sites yet, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do this wholesale. Okay, WP Rocket, pretty simple. Most popular premium solution here. I mean, I spent quite a long time configuring a particular site, and I thought I'll give this a try, and thinking it wouldn't speed things up because they give you a refund if it doesn't, and of course it did, and that was it. So I use it on everything, and once it's set up and configured, I just have to turn the thing on at the end of the project and it delivers speed. I'm using this for Image Optimizer, which is really for the clients because we optimize the images ourselves. I don't know how you would say this, but EWWW, Image Optimizer. It seems as the free alternatives, one of the most effective ones. There are better ones if you go to paid services. A particularly tempting one is Imagify. I don't know how you actually say that one, by the same people as WP Rocket, but it's premium after a certain amount is used, and of course clients are going to be different in terms of the images that they're going to upload for us. So I didn't really want something too messy like that, so I've avoided that for the moment. In terms of the backup plugins, I need 2 of these running because I'm using DigitalOcean, which doesn't have its own server backup, so I need to make sure that I'm running 2. Changed my mind a lot on this one. Backup Buddy I've used for a long time. I use it to migrate all sites, always copies up without a problem. So if I migrate something or do a duplicate, it works all the time without fail, and I do a lot of these. But it was pretty bad when I used to be using it on other people's servers. I would often have to change the configurations because it wouldn't zip things up. It would fail quite a lot of times, got a bit frustrating. And I swapped it out for Updraft Plus, which a lot of people love and rave about. The only issue is that an Updraft Plus restore failed on me. So I lost a bit of confidence in it, which has never happened with Backup Buddy. And so now I'm swapping it over because everybody's coming over to DigitalOcean, where it seems to me that Backup Buddy works faultlessly. So it's going on to that, and it's given me the opportunity to try out a new plugin, which is free, and there's a premium version of it, which is WP Time Capsule, which is different in the way that it actually uses up less server resources, because what it does is it only updates the files that are changed rather than zips up the whole of the file. So that's how I'm going to use that. And at the moment, this is maybe not the most professional way, I'm using a tip again from Nathan Wrigley. He got me onto SpiderOak for my own laptop backups, my own computer backups. This is a setup which encrypts all of your files onto the server, and I've got a unlimited account. So what I can do now with these ones on Time Capsule is send them to my Google Drive, and that will automatically upload to SpiderOak, to my personal account there. So an extra backup, a few different places on the cloud to store all of these. Okay, for extra functionality, coming soon page I use as a free version of this. I've got the premium one, which was for live. What I quite like about the premium one, which not everyone would need, is that we put the coming soon page on the work we're working on with clients, and we can issue them a temporary URL, which will allow the colleagues to bypass it if they need to get their opinion. And this person we are dealing with, because we only deal with one person, has to deal with their colleagues. They can show them and have their own conversations without revealing the site to the rest of the world. So we use that. Advanced Custom Fields Pro is what I'm using. This is a one-time license here, so you buy it for life. It's great. I'm going for this one to make extra fields for post or custom post types. Typically, we probably wouldn't need those so much, but we do often do some product based websites as well. So we might need some extra fields in there to show different fields for those particular products. So it's possible. Yeah, it's kind of clean, sort of user-friendly fields that it creates in the back end. So I like that. I also like the fact that it's used by the Beaver Builder team, who first integrated it with Beaver Thema. And that's kind of my reasons for that. There are some other great alternatives out there, but as I was making the decision, this seemed to be a good option. I very much like it. Also using custom post types UI, which is free here. There are other ways to create your custom post types, but this is just a quick and easy, friendly way to do it, particularly if I'm working with somebody who's doing the design side of things with the client here. They can actually knock these things up. I can train somebody to do this without them having to generate their own code for it. So we do use it in the, let me just come out of here. I do set up in the install, and I'll cover this in the next video. Do set up a products page. So I've already got one custom post type which can be changed there. So that's that. Right, I'm realizing this is going on a bit. I covered in my last video the extensions for Beaver Builder, the third-party ones by PowerPack and Ultimate add-ons, which we're using. They're pre-configured, and some of the modules are activated depending on the project. I also install and Vera Gallery and Soliloquy Slider, which, because I got the life deals on these two, Slider's not something I typically would use, and probably would use the Beaver Builder one if it was just some lightweight stuff, but we for conversion, we tend to avoid the big home page sliders if we can. But I do like Beaver Gallery, particularly. It's got a lot of different add-ons which can do lots of clever stuff, particularly lightweight. If you've got some serious galleries in there, you can resize all of the images for mobile use. So it's much more flexible than the Beaver Builder one. So I have that. Here's a nifty little plugin which I'm not sure about. This is one that could go. It's just for a bit of backup. In case somebody needs one of those off-canvas menus, and I can just show you the plugin itself. So it's BNE Flyouts, and it's premium, but it's very cheap. And here's the website itself. It costs $20 to buy it directly from them, and there's no licensing with it. You get it and you can update it on all of the sites. So you've got it for life, unlimited, for $20 direct from them. I suspect it's not on every site if you go to Code Canyon or Creative Markets to buy it. So this is the cheaper one, but I don't know. But it does this kind of effect, and we can add them, and you can add really top and bottom content and add what kind of content you like on it. It seems pretty nifty. There are other things like this, like Superfly, but this gives you a lot of flexibility. Of course, if they're only making $20 and giving everybody for life, you do have to wonder a little bit how they can support this on the long term. So as cool as it is, I wouldn't be overly recommending it for clients, but it's there in case I need something for quick activation for a project where somebody needs that. Okay, Table Press, again, this is free. This is recommended by the Beaver Builder team. It's probably the best plugin for creating tables. Again, on the setup, I set one up. So here's our blueprint. I set up a table and add some CSS here. So a comparison table I've set up. So I've got this pre-configured, so all the settings are there for the person who's dealing with the client. They will see this, and if it's not needed, it'll be removed. So that's that. Here's a plugin that, of course, I love because it comes from my new chum, Doug Belchamber. I think now becoming the chum of almost everybody in the Beaver Builder community because he's such a nice guy. A lot of interesting stuff he comes out with. So he's got this plugin here, which allows you to set up quick loading videos by not loading the video up, but the image, if you like, for that video, and only on click does the video actually show the same thing with Google Maps. So I use this, and some other nifty things in it. So you probably want to check that out. It's free over here by Doug there. So you really want to go and check that plugin out. And okay, now one's for conversion. Scriptless social share. This is a freebie one, really lightweight and simple. Use that. I'm not going to talk about this one. We're back onto Doug at the moment. So he's creating this one. I used to use for pop-ups for conversion. I used to use Pop-Up Maker. I made a video on this one, and there are some things in the modules for Power Pack and the ultimate add-ons for Beaver Builder. These are great, but they're still a little bit complex. This means you have to use a Beaver Builder shortcode. What Doug's done is kind of set this up so you use its own custom post types. You can use the interface. It hasn't come out yet. We're all still beta testing it. There is a video link to see what he's doing with it, and I do have it on the site, so you can put all these backgrounds in. It's easy. It's just working within what Beaver Builder normally does, so that's great. And it's set up to do exits as well, and some of the pop-ups on timer and all of that kind of stuff as well. So when that's out, I think that's the one that I'm going to be using for this. I think it's very client friendly. And with utility, I've covered this one, Admin Page Spider Pro. Absolutely such a phenomenal little plugin that I did a video on it. I didn't see its value in the first place, but I do now, because particularly with Thema, it just allows you to get straight into what you need. So if we're using themes rather than templates, I can just go directly into those and start using them with the page builder. Fantastic stuff. So let's go on. Better Search and Replace is another plugin that I use, a utility one. It's turned off straight away. All it is for when I'm issuing. So here my site's usually on a secure with a certificate on to make sure everything works. When I move it, I use the HTTP version that I move it onto the hosting and then turn on the certificate. And then I can just search and replace and swap out all of the HTTPs for the HTTPSs, and everything's then running smoothly. This one is one that I'm uncertain about whether I need to have it. It's the customizer import export. It's something by Justin Booster from the Beaver Builder team. It allows you to save all your customizer settings for reuse. I'm not sure if I'm going to need this in all the projects, but it's definitely one that you should check out if you do that, because you don't want to lose some of your settings there. But I don't think it will apply in the way we're doing things. Duplicate post, another free plugin which just allows you to, as it says, duplicate your post with a click, and that's quite handy if you're using it with a lot of custom fields in. So that facility is in WooCommerce already, so you can duplicate products for the same reason, because it's got lots of fields in there, and sometimes you're duplicating those. That's that. So finally, on these utility, I've got Yellow Pencil Pro. Again, another uncertainty. It's not for my use. It doesn't generate the kind of code I like. It tends to be overqualified CSS. But it's quite a handy tool when I'm working with the person. I'm taking, if you like, the developer role in this, where the person who's going to be dealing with the client is going to be doing some hands-on stuff with them. It does allow them to click in there and probably make some simple CSS, which I can sort of turn into some better code later. So that's really an experimental one at the moment, not been using it. Interestingly, the other day, MicroTheme, which I also have, came out in its beta for version 5, which is much improved from when I reviewed it earlier, when I was looking at all of these. I tried it, and to be honest, it wasn't working very well for me. I don't know if that's just the beta thing. It was a bit sluggish to use, so I don't think I can comment whether it's fair. I did consider whether we could swap to this, but I think for the role of the designer that I'm looking for, I think Yellow Pencil would probably suit them best, even if this might be the better solution for adding CSS generally. I don't know. And video user manuals I've mentioned already, that's in there. And finally, my last two are just ones which relate to the fact that I use main WP for our dashboard, which looks after all the client sites. We add those, so these need to be included a child, so I can connect it up to the main dashboard, and the child reports, which keeps all of the report data which we give out for our monthly reports. And that's me done. I've talked for a very, very long time. I doubt you've got to the end of this, but anyway, in the next one I'm going to be looking at a little bit more about the templates I've set up and how they're centered on conversion, and how they're there to help us really as some kind of checklist for us to build the next site. So I'll move on to that in the next video. Thanks for watching this, and if you liked it, then give me a thumbs up, and if you didn't, just drop me a polite comment about how I can do things a lot better. All right, that's me done. Thanks for watching. Bye.